Good morning, people. I've had a lot of people asking me if there's websites or links that I can give them that would show them how to shorten their S10 chassis. I can provide some of those in this video. I'm also going to show you what I did on mine. I started out with a 122-inch wheelbase chassis. It was from a extended cab short bed pickup. I needed to shorten it by 6 inches, so I'm going to go through the steps that it took me to get that done. Um, I'm sure there's lots of schools of thought on how to do this, but this is what worked for me. This is what I started with. Then the first thing I did was shorten the front frame horns. If you see that oval hole that's on a slant, you want to cut your frame horns off right in front of that hole, right even with the recessed part that's around the hole. That'll get you close. You want it to be even with the front of your steering box when you get all said and done. In a moment you'll see a picture that shows the steering box reinstalled in that position. For me, that was 5 inches back from the front fender mounts. There is a side view on the driver's side before I bolted the steering box back up. There it is with the steering box bolted back up, both sides cut off, and the front view. Okay, then what you want to do to cut your chassis, there is a factory splice on these S10 chassis right here between the two blue pieces of tape, and I put that tape on there 18 inches apart, and then I put a line exactly 18 inches apart in the center of that tape. And so when I cut it and remove 6 inches, I get it welded back together. Those two lines should be exactly 12 inches apart, and you want to make sure of that before you actually weld. And you want to cut your frame on the part of the frame that goes over the other part of the frame. That way you don't need to worry about grinding that weld off. Just cut next to it and then grind off what's left, and your frame should slide right back together. You may have to do some tweaking and beat on that so that the frame will slide back inside each other again, but it's not that hard to do. This is right before I slid it back together. And here is slid back together and tacked in place. And then fully welded. Make sure you measure everything. Find two places on the chassis where you can measure both sides, and then also places where you can measure diagonally across your chassis to make sure that you have everything square before you do any welding, because you want to get this thing as close as possible. And this is just the process of painting it. I used 2 coats of epoxy primer and some chassis black. I got it all at AutoZone. I am not sure what the part numbers are, but the chassis black was ready to spray right out of the can. And here's my son hamming it up a little bit at my request. Thanks for watching.